Four. That's right. Greetings and salutations. It's James L. Seagraves here. Greetings, Michigan Ultimate Survivor League members. We are in to the final four, ladies and gentlemen. All this has culminated into four teams being left. Started with 100. Playoffs started with 27. We are now into the next to last week of the MUSL bracket, a.k.a. the final four. We're going to break down what happened last week. We're going to look at what happened this week. And we're also going to talk about the suck bracket, which I believe at this point they're in the Sweet 16. I think they have 2 weeks after we go. Well, we'll look at that and find out. But also talk about a couple of things that, were kind of disturbing messages to get in the middle of the day on Sunday while I was shopping with my wife. But still, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to break it down right now. We're going to, oh my God. All right, as soon as we started, that's funny. We're going to go straight to it. We're going to go to the fantasy recaps. We're going to try this background music again and see how it works. Here we go. We got my slow ass internet / computer, which still has not been fixed. And we're going to go. I don't know if you can, how loud that is compared to what I'm saying. But again, we're testing it. Nothing like getting it right the last couple weeks. The MUSL game of the week was not even in the fucking main bracket. It was in the suck bracket as the double G spot. As his season come to an end, Dick in a Box really hit that double G spot and beat them by less than a point, 90.72 to 89.87. Led behind, of course, Jordan Addison, who I also started. Huge game for him, as well as Justin Jefferson, which meant that Sam Darnold had a monster game, but not nearly as monster as the greatest performance by a quarterback in MUSL history. We'll get to that in a second, but first, Elite 8 game number 1, the Providence Power, the 17th seeded Power behind Sid, Jordan Addison, as well as Joey Ballgame, Joey Blue Skies, Joe Cool, whatever you want to call him. He needed 4.4 points for me to win last night. He comes home with 17.28 and defeats the amazingly incredible, talented, handsome Mike Kaminsky, rookie owner. Made it to the Elite 8 in his first year. Congratulations, but it was not quite enough. And he did have Justin Jefferson and Jason Sanders, who scored 17 points as a kicker. I was like, the thing that did him in, starting the Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks in a game that both teams needed to win, scored you 0. That was brutal to watch. I watched your score fall as the time went on. I was like, I don't know about starting, and then boom, boom, boom. The Seahawks were up on the Cardinals like instantly by 17 points, and I'm like, I might have a chance here. And behind Joey Blue Skies, whatever you call him, hope still alive for Joe Burrow. And then we have this, and probably the greatest fantasy football game in MUSL history. The number 5 seeded versus the number 4 seeded. We said it would be the game of the week. And I don't care what this site says, this was the game of the week. Because the 4 versus the 5 seed always is worthy of something. And oh my God. Nantab Knight, Michael Myers, whose name is Batman spelled backwards, in case you know, Nantab Knight. Batman was defeated by fucking Superman. Josh Allen. This movie's actually better than the Zack Snyder movie because he put all-time record for a quarterback. I think it's the second highest score of all time, behind only the defense that 1 week that nobody started. For someone who actually was started, Josh Allen, 40.94 points. Are you serious? 6 touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing, and he put up 40.94 and helped Louis Diana score the second highest, I believe, the second highest fantasy playoff performance in history, behind only the Ypsilanti Golden Gophers, Fighting Gophers. Unbelievable performance, and I'm not sure how loud the music is, so turn it down. It's such a shame to see a quality owner like Michael Myers put up 100 points in the Elite 8 and lose to a truly superhuman performance. Oh, by the way, Evan McPherson didn't even play, and he still scored 131 points. Evan McPherson's backup was dating a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Let me tell you something. You want the ultimate setup in life? being a backup kicker and getting to date a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. That sounds pretty good. It was not good news for Namtan Knights Bay Fall. In this game, Golf and Balls versus Tallywhackers. The number 2 seed ends Josh Crankton's season 88.26 to 75.15. Good performances by both teams. Jalen Hurts actually delivered. Cooper Kupp, Pittsburgh Steelers, Chase Brown. Unfortunately, they both had him going there at the end. So Golf and Balls moves on. And then Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs puts up 98 over You Feeling Lucky Punks. The fucking reality that we live in came crashing in, as you're not going to win a championship in this one. But Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of the thighs moves on to the final 4. Behind Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith and Jigba, James Conner, Devon A-Chain, and Russell Wilson all putting up double digits. Sam Darnold, by the way, was started by You Feel Lucky Punk. You take his performance out, and he was feeling not very lucky. That's your muscle rack. That is your muscle bracket recap. So now we're going to go to the suck bracket. The Lakers, Amber Cole didn't submit a lineup. The Wyans puts 57 points and wins behind Rashad White. The Combas defeats finally puts low-hanging fruit out of their misery. The rough season that came back at the end pretty good. Rowdy Eric Kester, but Jeremy Orr, who has 2 of the highest 3 scores of all time, as I just went through the record books with Louis Diana last night, wins 69.37 to 55.46, and Tua's 16-point performance. Show me them TDs. Doubles up on young Bubba's players, ending his season. Isaac Guerrero, the backup to the backup to the backup of the San Francisco 49ers running back staff, puts up 19 points as Chad Lige moves on to whatever it is in the 5.5 bracket. Quadrills season finally comes to an end behind Whispering Eyes, Jason Taylor, 66 to 59. Digger Phelps, Andy Plum, you heard there was money involved. He started submitting lineups on a regular basis. He usually does, actually. He got randomized twice. Who doesn't? Parker Dalton's dad, David Dalton, give me 2 for the road. Moves on to the next round behind Tyrone Tracy, who I also started, by the way. Miracle I won. But still, no, it wasn't. Jordan Addison saved my ass. Didn't save his, but Tyrone Tracy was his high score. Prime time. Brian Benore sent me a message at like 1:45 asking if he could put in a lineup that was people playing. Let me tell you something. We're going to talk about this in a minute, too. Multiple people do this. You cannot do that. We'll talk about it here in a second. I got to remember to do that. But Rocky Keeling beats Primetime 67-0. Aiken for a ship over DeMar Hamlin's booster shots. Isaac Gorendo, again, hero. I can be your Gorendo baby. And he was for multiple people. Aiken for a ship being one of them. Death by 1,000 punts puts up over 102. Aaron Minter not going quietly in the dark. Officially ending the entire Bradley season, as Rob Bradley was the last surviving Bradley in this league. We're going back to the original music here, I guess, because I only put 3 tracks on this thing. Hopefully it's not too loud. Okay. I don't know what that was. And hanging with Mr. Hernandez defeats former champion Don Valenti, putting him out 4-7 in the season. It ends as Chris Melclory and Puka Nakua, his weird haircut. 93 to 73. Not a bad performance by Dom, though. And this was a tough one to look at. Look at this one. Do you even Swift, bro? Puts up 100.16 and loses to my Balzac Ertz. More than on him today. Ben Hester, 100.16 points and falling. Don Knapp behind, of course. Jordan Addison scored a lot of points this week. Speaking of Jordan Addison, there he is again. Steel City Sackers had a player who didn't even play, but it didn't matter. Another person messaged me asking to switch the lineup after it was committed. Doesn't matter. Jordan Lad McConkey. He may be a conky. I don't know what he even looks like. Is he white or black? Nobody cares. I'll tell you what he got, though, a 0 on the stat sheet because he didn't play, and it didn't hurt him. Steel City Stackers still move on. All right, Freddie versus Jason over Ketchum and Mostert. Almost doubled him up here. 101 to 52. Justin Jefferson. A lot of purple in these pictures here. Suck It season comes to an end miserably. Almost tripled up by $75 million man. Craig Monahan has $50 to play for, and he is putting in the effort, boys and girls. Zach Charbonnet, Jordan Addison, both over 25 points. And then Tyreek Hill, Chase Brown, and Baker Mayfield, both over 10. Whereas suck it. Basically, had Will Levis. He did nothing. Surprisingly, nobody. And then, just here so I don't get fined, his season continues as he puts in 100.86 points behind Jordan Addison and Isaac Gorindo, Jared Goff, and Chase Brown, all with double-digit performances. Jessica Anonymous, it was a good run. Hopefully, he'll be back as a regular owner next year. We thank you for taking over team and making it interesting in the suck bracket, nevertheless. So that's that. You know what happened this week. Let's see what's happening the upcoming week. As I mentioned, the final four of the MUSL bracket is set. We have in the top seed of the bracket, or the top half of the bracket, My Providence Power going up against Louis Diana's football team, the most decorated owner in history, with, I believe, this may be his fourth Final Four appearance. I'd have to check the stats on that. I don't have a stat person. I'll look it up. We'll see. I think it's his fourth Final Four appearance. He's made it to the finals, I think, twice. Pretty good. And then on the other half of the bracket, we have Golf and Balls, Chris Russell taking on Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs, Cassandra Rodriguez. That is right, folks. You heard correctly. I have never made it past the second week of the playoffs, and here I am in the Final Four. My wife has only made the playoffs once. She never made it past the first week of the playoffs. But here we are. It is our year, perhaps, although I don't like my chances, to be honest with you. I like hers a lot more than mine, because Louis Diana is a freak about this shit. We could have, for the second time in history, a husband and wife in the finals, which is, I mean, the odds of that are insane, but could happen. Tony Cromwell, Ashley Cromwell, one year we're in the finals together, and Ashley Cromwell came out on top. I don't even care. My wife beats me. It's fine. She beats me every day. Boom, boom. Nevertheless, I'm an abused spouse. Shouldn't joke about that, but I do. Anyway, Golf and Ball. So we have the 2, 3, 4, and 17 seeds. Almost had a chalk run of the bracket, but of course, My Providence Power upset FarmersOnly.com a couple weeks ago, and then knocked off Swine Flu. The Cinderella story, can it continue? It'll have to beat Louis Diana with a glass slipper in order for that to happen. I don't know. It could. And then we get down to, I believe, the Sweet 16. Yep, they're 2 weeks behind us. Sweet 16 of the suck bracket. We have Vic in a box taking on Aiken for a ship, as Josh Greiner takes on Rob Aiken in a game there. Death by 1,000 punts. Aaron Minturn taking on Hang on Mr. Hernandez, Chris Melclory. Good game there. My ball, Zach Ertz versus Steel City Sackers. That'd be Dustin Hanson versus Don Knapp. Jeffrey Arbogast taking on Craig Monahan in the Battle of Addison Class of 2000 alumni. That'll be a good game to watch. Paul Wallenwine taking on DeWyans, the lovable Gary King. And then Patriot Thunder, fresh off his resting week, scored 12 points and won. I'm not sure why that wasn't in the recaps, but I guess because he had a bye officially because he didn't play anybody. Taking on Kakambas, Jeremy Orr, his run continues. Show me them TDs, Chad Lige taking on Jason Taylor's Whispering Eyes. And Parker Dalton / dad David Dalton takes on Rocky Keeling down there in the final game of the suck bracket. So $50 at stake here. Up top, $100 has already been will be handed out today to the final four teams. And don't forget, if you win these games, this is both to Cassandra, to Lewis, and to Chris. If you win these games, you go on to the finals, where you'll guaranteed, I think it's $400 extra dollars or $400 total. If you lose, though, you go to the third place game. So don't pull, I forget who it was, Dom somebody, not Valenti, but someone else. Someone didn't even put a lineup in the third place game, and he resigned from the league afterwards because we mocked him so bad. So if you lose this week on the top, don't forget you're in the third place game. Okay. So full disclosure here. I've been so busy with Black Friday and Jolly Palooza and all that shit. I have not been keeping up on these squares. Okay. And that's on me. I will own up to it. People paid money. They deserve to know if they won or not. Going back to last week, Brian David, who lost in the muscle bracket this week, but he won squares last week. So that's $42 or something like that, $41. Oh, I'm not showing the right thing here. Let me share this tab instead. Here we go. You probably can't read it anyway. But Brian David, last week's category is fewest passing yards, and freaking 49ers had 86 in that Ice Bowl game in Buffalo. And the Colts put up 109 because, well, they just have Anthony Richardson. So Brian David wins. And then this week's category was most rushing yards, and Ashley Thrush behind Saquon Barkley's 209. Well, the Eagles 209, and the Titans put up 126 rushing yards against the lowly Jaguars. So good job to you. Now, this next category this week is fewest rushing yards. So just keep an eye on the bad teams. There's a lot of bad teams in this league. So that's where you'll be. And yeah, I just want to state one last thing here. When you do not get your lineup in by 1 o'clock, I mean, it's basically game over. Yes, you can make the argument, as one person did this weekend. It's like, well, hey, all the other leagues let me change my lineup if the players haven't played yet. Yes, that's true. But in all the other leagues, the lineups aren't hidden until 1 o'clock. The reason lineups are hidden until 1 o'clock is so you can't strategize based on who your opponent is playing. Like, oh, I can start this person, start the same person. Then really it only comes down to my kicker being better than his kicker. No, you cannot do that. So once those lineups become visible. Now, if it's 101, I have made exceptions. 101, if someone sends me a message 101 because of a system error, or 102, fine. Because I genuinely do not believe they took the time to look at their lineup and they're like, oh, hey, well, they don't have time to do that. If it's within a minute or two, I can manually change the lineup. I can. And I have done it, I think, maybe once this year, maybe twice. I know Richard Price had a computer error one time. Didn't matter. Dong, there it is. But yeah, once those lineups are visible, people can see who has been started, who hasn't been started, and they can change the lineup accordingly. So if it's even 3 minutes afterwards, I mean, you can do, I mean, try just not to have it happen, because I have to have that message in my inbox no later than 101 or 102. Okay, period. That is the rule, I guess you could say. But 142, unfortunately, it was too late. Brian Benor got a hold of me a little too late. Even though he was trying to start everyone in 4 o'clock games, I get that argument. And then Dustin Hanson was like, hey, I got this guy who's playing in the 8 o'clock game. Can I change him? You can't. You can't, because that's the whole point of hiding the lineups, you know. So just get your lineups in on time, you know. Preferably, like, I don't know, Saturday, you know, Sunday at 9 a.m. I mean, we've all been in this league for a while. We all know when the lineups are due. We all know how fantasy football works. I mean, you put in a whole lineup before 10 a.m. on Sunday, and then you find out at 12:30 that one of your players isn't playing. Guess what? You have one player at risk, not the whole lineup, you know? So, and, you know, if a player is questionable, don't fucking start him. That's what I got to say, you know? I don't know what happened to Jordan Ladd, but if he didn't play, I know that, Ladd McConkey, whatever his name is. So that's that. Hopefully this sounds okay. We'll get back on the super squares. And, you know, like, best of luck to Lewis and to Chris. But I got to be honest with you, I'm pulling for a husband, wife. Well, I don't think there's a chance in hell it happens. But you know what? I've made it further than I've ever made it. She's made it further than she's ever made it. So I'm already proud. My son didn't even submit a lineup in the suck bracket, so I've disowned him. But and then my dad did pretty well. He lost in the suck bracket this week. So all in all, not a bad season for the Seagrace family. Win or lose this week, we're proud. We're proud. And just want to say thanks to everyone who's still in the suck bracket participating. You know, means a lot. So, and don't forget that once this season is officially over, the playoff challenge begins, and we're going to do something a little different this time, I think, is the plan. So stay tuned. You all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week. Go Lions. Big party, huge party at the Zone, Mega XP Zone on Sunday at about 4 o'clock. There in C Square.